Architectural Builder Supply is pleased to present you with this recording of the technical question that is listed in the title of this video.
This call may be monitored and recorded for quality assurance.
Questions on kick plates. Yes, that's my legal middle name.
I am looking at I haven't ordered kick plates before, so I wasn't sure if these are the only two manufacturers that make them. I have a Hager 190S, 6-inch high, and I was looking at a 36-inch long. One, I didn't know if these come custom cut or if you have to order them, because I'm thinking, are they pre-drilled?
Well, there are kick plates that could be sitting on the shelf, and yeah, they've already got holes in them for fasteners. But ultimately, all kick plates, all protection plates start out as a made-to-order item. It's just, did we order them for stock or do we order them for you?
Okay, because what I was reading is that on the Rockwood site that a push side is 2 inches less than the door width, and the pull side is 1.5 inch less than the door width.
Yeah.
So if I start with those dimensions, I get a funky dimension.
Yeah. So the side industry standard, putting on my hardware consultant nerd hat on, industry standard does tell us that you're going to use a different formula depending on the side. Now, because it's a kick plate, you're never going to mount it on the pull side of the door because that's a mop plate. So if you say kick, I know it's on the push side.
So I actually need a plate for both sides. So I was noticing that too. I didn't realize they were called different things.
Yeah. So since we're talking about names, you also have armor and stretcher plates as well, and it all has everything to do with where they're located and you know what they're intended for. So the standard that you could go with is 2 LDW, 2-inch less door width. That would be pretty arguably acceptable for a kick plate. And when you do a mop plate, we really want to stretch that out a little bit bigger. So we would do either 1 LDW or 1.5 LDW. So, 1 LDW could work pretty well as in addition to that. One thing you got to think about when you're throwing kick plates onto doors, do you have surface vertical rod exit devices? Do you have kick down door holders? Are your doors fire rated? You have to be mindful of that.
Okay, so I do know my doors are not going to be fire rated.
Okay.
But I do have, let's see, on the doors that these have been called for, the interior door, one of them, the inactive panel, will have a rod going up and down.
Yeah, so someone's going to have to be mindful that they're going to be drilling through that kick plate. You'll want to call that out. If it's in the same hardware set and someone's reviewing it, they're going to say, I've got to drill through a piece of, protection plate that's there.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So shouldn't be a problem, but.
Okay. So what I saw that was the Hager 190S. I need brass. So I see that does come in brass. But can you get those in a mop or a kick plate then?
Most definitely. So when you say brass, that's a generic term. I'm assuming you mean the base. Okay, so that means three things. The base material. Actually, it's 605 is the proper term to use. It means it's solid brass, that it's polished and has a lacquer on it. Hager will call that US3 because they're such an old hardware company. Their company was already a senior citizen collecting Social Security before the U.S. system even existed. But 605 would be a better term, the BHMA code to call that. But yeah, so that's what that means.
Yeah, I usually pull all of those codes because I never know which company is going to use which one.
Yeah. Some definitely will use that U.S. system when they could be doing a better job, but by telling us the base material. Is it 640 or 613? Is it 632 or is it 605? Is it 626 or 652? All of that is either oil rubbed or polished brass or satin chrome, but then I know the base material. Yeah, the U.S. system was a confluence of the government saying, hey, you major manufacturers of hardware, get together. We need to make a system because Mary, is building her house, and she wants oil rub bronze on the hinges and the window hardware, 2 different manufacturers, not umber, not Tuscan, Venetian, chocolate, and then you've got coca and all these other weird, terms. If you look at old catalogs, it's like really cool what they call them, but you have no idea what you're getting. So
it's like,
at least I wouldn't. Yeah, right.
Okay, so right now that's what I was looking at, the 190 series, but I didn't know if that was considered both a kick plate or a mop plate, because
it could be any of them, any 4 of them.
Off.
Yeah, it could be any of them. When you dictate the size, it's going to put it into a classification. But if you're going to call out hardware and it's a mop plate versus a kick plate, the important thing is if you hand someone a hardware set and say, go install this, and you have a kick plate on there, that's 8 by 34, and you have a mop plate on there, that's 8 by 34. If you have kick in your hardware set and they put that on the pull side, you'll say, no, you did that wrong. Kick plate means. So when you use the proper term, it tells the installer, hey, this is the side I'm installing this on.
Okay.
That's why it's really important. You could have a mop plate that's 2-inch less door width.
Okay, so the kick plate is the 2-inch less, and that's on the push.
Always on the push side, the egress side. Egress. Well, no, that's wrong. Not the egress side, but the push side. When the door's closed, the side that you would push the door open.
Okay, and the mop plate is on the pull side.
Always. So think of a hallway in a hospital, and those closet doors swing out. You're not going to put that plate on the interior of the opening.
Okay, but they can be the same size?
They can be. Yeah, it's not best practice. I mean, you should run that plate because its job is to protect the door. You should run it as long as prudent. And you'll have a very, very close coverage when you do 2-inch less door width for a kick and 1-inch less door width on a mop. You can do 1.5 inches as well. Now, the last class I was in at DHI, they were definitely telling us 1.5 inches less door width for kick plates. 5/8, 5/8, 1.5 inch. Yeah, they were definitely doing that.
Rockwood put right on their cut sheet.
Yeah.
Push side 2-inch and then pull side 1.5. So that's actually specified. The Hager didn't have that on where I could see it.
Yeah, you'll always see 2 LDW in specifications, but what I'm saying is I think at the last class I was in, for kick plates they were saying 1.5 inch less door width rather than 2.
Okay.
That will work, and it will fit if you've got 5/8 stops or less. So there you go.
Well, yeah, so my total door length is 37 and 1/16. That's why.
So you would take provided you're gonna have a normal door, like an 1/8 inch margin or a 3/32, you're gonna take your nominal size. Now, if you've got one of those behavioral hinges from Pemco and you're ripping 3 1/8 off the door width, you're going to need to override that and say, I've got a 3'9" door, but my net door size is going to be 3'5" 7/8. Yeah, it's not 2-inch LDW anymore because you got that really weird behavioral hinge.
Okay. Let's see. Yeah, my hinges are high enough. I just don't think that's going to be a problem on there. But I do have but I know what but I definitely have the exit device vertical rod coming down on the inside.
Yeah, if you've said 190 yes a couple of times, that's a 50 thousandths plate. If it was an 1/8 of an inch plate, I forget Hager's part number for the 1/8 inch plate, I would talk to the exit device manufacturer and say, hey, are you going to be okay with me doing that? But a 50 thousandths, I mean, I see it all the time, that bottom latch.
Well, I honestly don't even know if that one's the one I should be ordering. That's why I'm calling. I don't know what the standards are. Like, I just kind of was looking at some and thinking, okay, that is pretty thin. I don't know if they want something thicker.
Well, that's industry standard, 50 thousandths. Now, you could definitely do the 1/8 inch, but you would be in a very small, exclusive club of folks who specify that. You don't see 1/8 inch thick kick plates. It'd have to be exceptionally high abuse, I think, for that.
Okay. Well,
the Rockwood is a K1050. You probably know that, or 1050.
Well,
it's one of the.
yeah,
I think
Rockwood
Trimco's K1050.
Rockwood, I actually wasn't sure because the only one I could find was the 1125, but that didn't come in brass, so I didn't think that was the one I needed. And it was thicker. It was an eighth of an inch thick.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah, the 1125, and if you want to get nerdy, 0.125 is eighth of an inch. So that's the telltale there. So Rockwood's part number is definitely K1050, and you would use the manufacturer you like. They're all good. They all make good kick plates. Unless you're asking me to tell you who to use, I will refrain from doing so.
Well, no, I wouldn't mind you telling me the manufacturers that make kick plates so I can look them up. So I
Sure.
have the Hager, and I have, now you said the Rockwood, which was the 1050, so I'll have to look that one up because I didn't. Is it the 1050 WS, the windstorm plate, or, oh no, it's above it. I see it.
Yeah, they got one weird page. They don't give enough real estate in their catalog to protection plates.
Now,
so
does that one come in brass though? Because
it
says finishes. It didn't list that as a finish on here. It just says US 10BE, 32D, and 32DMS.
If you're looking at a K1050, you can definitely get all of the base materials: your brasses, your bronze, your aluminums, your stainless. You can do all of that on their 1050, so 0.050 is 50 thousandths. And other manufacturers would be Trimco and Ives and Burns.
No, you're Trimco, Ives, and Burns. Okay. How do you, Burns is BURNS?
Yeah, just like the guy.
Heard of them yet.
Yeah, like the character from MASH. If I've not just aged myself.
That's okay. My husband loves MASH.
I was watching it the other night. I haven't watched it in 20 years. I'm like, this is good stuff. Anyway.
Yeah, he would always watch the reruns. Now, you say the base material, but I want the finished product to have that brass finish too. So is that?
Yeah.
Okay,
so
maybe it's the cut sheet I found off of Aza's. They are not listing the finish as any brass material. Like the one says it's a material is brass, but the finishes aren't brass. It's the oil rub bronze. What's the 32D? That's like isn't that a stainless steel?
Brushed stainless, yeah.
Yeah,
so it's definitely an omission in their catalog, that they're not showing the 4 different base materials. Definitely an omission.
Yeah, no, the material, it says brass, bronze, and stainless steel, but then finishes it doesn't list the brass, so that's why I was kind of.
Yeah, so on to, and that's where the BHMA codes come in because it defines all of it. So you could do polished, you could do satin, you could probably do a non or an unlacquered brass as well if you wanted. I don't see, sure they would oblige that. So you would then just call out
605 would be an option.
That'd be the money right there. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm in the price list, and it's funny because they do only list those under their WS, their windstorm option. I've never seen that before until I've just looked at it. So I don't know why.
The standard duty number K1050 and K1050F, Frank as in Frank, it says this. It says that, and then it says standard duty again.
Yeah, I see.
So they're confusing when I was reading it.
Yeah, and it is for me too. Their K1050, K1050F is right below their K1050, which is
and
so they're using this
material and different finishes. Yeah,
what they should do is delete that top one where it says US 32D and just dump that down below in the material line. So 050 aluminum, brass, bronze. Well, they do have it. It's funny. They've just duplicated it unnecessarily, it seems. Right? I mean,
it seems like they revised something maybe. And Although the fasteners are, no, they're not different. That was the weight. There's no weight on the other one. Okay.
Yeah.
So, is there like what am I looking at lead times, I guess, for the different manufacturers? Do you have any idea?
Yeah,
I mean, there's material supply issues, so we're trying to, when we give an option, we're trying to give an alternate because we're not sure what the lead time on our hardwares are going to be anymore.
Yeah, so it's always going to be between 2 and 5 weeks would be my answer. Rockwood's going to be 2. Burns, Ives, Hager are going to be 3 to 4. Trimco could be closer to 5. So if it was me, if lead time is the most important thing, then stick with Rockwood. And I say that objectively because I can measure their lead times compared to all other manufacturers I've mentioned, and they are shorter. Mm-hmm. So that's not me liking Rockwood. That's me telling you a fact.
Okay.
So but
go ahead.
But you could get into a situation where you're like, I don't care if the Acme company makes it and the Roadrunner delivers it. I need inventory now. So at that point, it would be, okay, great. Who has stuff in stock? And if I'm looking for a US 3 8x34 kick plate, I'm going to be looking at Ives, and I've got 24 of them on the shelf ready to ship. So, but keep in mind, no matter whose plate you order, it's going to measure the same to the caliper, the width and the length. It's going to be the same caliber of base material, the same caliber of finish. It is variations on a theme.
Yep. No, I definitely know that. I'm just trying to get an idea of who carries what in stock, like you said, and then if it's not in stock, what's the next option? Because we are looking for items that are in stock, but if the item that we need isn't in stock, then we're looking at what the lead time is for those items, or if there's an alternate that has a better lead time.
Mm-hmm. For me, the 1-2 punch would be Rockwood on a factory lead time, and then look at Ives, because Ives is so common in the marketplace that people ask for it, and it's generally stocked. But you could get into lead time trouble if you're looking for, 34.5-inch width.
Well, that was the other thing, is because I have a funky door size, and I don't know, I might just say, well, let's just do a 36-inch, as long as it covers and there's no conflict with anything,
On that weird 37-inch door you talk about, sure. And strangely enough, we do have 4 of those 8x36 in stock in a 605. But then again, it's the standard features. This is going to be 4BE, which is 4 beveled edges, and then it's going to be countersunk. So, when you order it from the factory, you can specify that whether or not you want all 4 edges beveled. Sometimes it's 3BE, and sometimes it's countersunk or it's not.
So it always comes with the holes pre-drilled, is that correct?
Yeah, if we're looking at something I have on the shelf, it's going to always have holes.
And if it's something you order, it doesn't necessarily, or you can order it that way?
You can order it with or without holes.
Okay.
Generally, if you order without holes, then you're using 2-sided tape, or you've got a reason. Yeah, exactly. Or you've got a reason for ordering it without holes.
Yeah, I didn't know if they would drill and tap them on site, or depending on.
No, your installer would not be expecting to do that.
Yeah, we got to save the installers here. Save them time. Okay, so that's good to know. I'll put that in my list of stuff. I'm not looking to order anything at the moment. I'm looking at what's in stock, what's the lead times are if they're not in stock, so I have an idea of when I go to order.
Yeah.
And I know when I do go to order, those times could have all changed at that point. So.
Well, they generally are getting better than worse now, but the pro tip is going to be Rockwood all the way. Give yourself 3 weeks, and you're always going to be in good shape.
Okay. Do you guys carry Rockwood in stock, or is it just
The only
right now you have?
the only thing I keep in Rockwood is going to be 8, 10, and 12 by 34 and a 32D only.
Okay.
So that's the stuff that you're going to sell all the time. But if it's other stuff like bronze or brass or oil rub, it's going to be, it's probably, if anything's in stock, it'll be Ives.
Okay. Is there something else? Oh, actually, yes. There's something else I typically order from you guys now because you carry it in stock most times. Let me open my sheet back up here. Now, I know there have been problems with the gaskets. I'm looking for Zero Suites. Right now, I'm looking at the 0369 AA.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm also looking at the counterpart Legacy, which is the 7963
Okay.
CA. And my door is the 37 and a 1/16. And I have 4 of them. So Zero is at least 25 days, except they're having problems with gaskets. Am I correct in that?
That's very possible. I'm not aware of it. It's
okay.
just
Maybe it was just for the other product that I had purchased earlier.
Yeah, it's, I'd like to just keep it 0. It's just they take time. Plus, they have instituted a weird minimum order thing, like X% for orders under $3,500. The thing with Legacy is, speaking frankly, I wish that I could have a sense of trust, which I don't. There have been orders that they have completely fumbled on, and it has been awful to the point where, like, I'll never buy from you again. And yet, but in general, if I call them right now, they would tell me, I won't say her name, but she'll tell me we get them out Monday by the end of the day. Monday, the end of the day comes. What's my tracking number? Oh, did I say that? And then it turns out that they shipped them the Friday before. So it's like, stop scaring me. Just tell me a week and ship it in 4 days rather than 2, and I'm going to look like a hero, and I'm not going to call you up.
Yeah, exactly.
And I want them to succeed, but that's the problem.
Yeah, I always have problems, honestly, with your website looking at the tracking number because they'll put a tracking number on it, and I don't know what products ship.
That's a known issue
until I get it.
Yeah, that's a known issue. That's on our radar to fix. We are not good. We're not able to tie when it's a partial. So what I like to do to answer that is, if you gave me an order of, a whole project of different hardware sets, I literally batch those out into separate orders, so that all the McKinney goes to McKinney, all the Rockwood goes to Rockwood, all the Pemco goes to Pemco, all the Zero goes to Zero, because the shipping charges come back the same way. So I like to do it that way so you can see more cleanly. And then we link those orders together on our back end, and that could be something to do in the future. But you're right, it's a known issue. It's just the fires we're putting out are far hotter than that, as callous as that sounds.
Yeah, no, I get it. Okay, so if I know those 2 products come in, you usually carry some of them in stock for even increments. I always like to get them longer so they can cut them to what they actually need in the field. I would do 38 inches, but I'm not sure if that would be too short for them to cut. So could you just tell me 38 and 40 inch?
I don't stock either of those. I only stock 36 and a 369.
Okay. So, and is right now Zero you have listed on the website 25 business days? Is that?
Yeah. It's because now they're forcing us to put everything onto a stock order. And if there's no doubt that Legacy is going to come in substantially faster than that. And if you have that sort of lead time already built in for Zero, but you really don't want to run the risk, then go to Legacy, because we will bird dog them. If the order's overdue, they hear from us, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, what's their typical lead time right now? Do you know?
Well, if I call them, they'd say 2 days. And if I were to say something to you, I'd say, listen, make it 1 or 2 weeks, because then it's not stressful on anyone. It's not us calling them.
I'd rather you give me that. No, I'd rather you give me that, because where we run into problems is once we get our approval on the door, they're like, okay, go to manufacturing, but we have to still order the hardware because that's part of our shop process. And if I can't get the hardware ordered before the door, and the hardware is what takes so long. And then we're waiting on the hardware for them to build the door because they need the hardware to build the door. Yeah. But we're trying to manage our customers too, where they give us a deadline and we're like, okay, this is what we're running into right now. We're getting extended lead times on a lot of products because of COVID. It's just the way things are going. We have no control over it. So. Yeah, no, I mean, it's on the side of caution.
Yeah, if you were talking to my tracking gal, Heather, that's her, the thing when Oprah says, you get a car and you get a car and well, Heather's thing is, you get a back order and you get a back order and you get a back order.
Yeah. Okay, I think that's all I needed from you at the moment. Yeah. Actually, no. Can I give, and you don't have to give me this right off the bat, maybe if it's easier for you to do this after we're off the phone and maybe email me. Hinges. We've had a lot of issues with hinges. So I have a number of hinges that are equivalents, and I wanted to get the rough lead time on them. They're 5-inch square. Do you want me to give you all the numbers or?
Yeah.
Okay, so I have 2 Hagers. It's BB1168 or the BB1199. And I need the NRP for all of these.
So Hager, because of where they are at the time of our conversation, with building a state-of-the-art distribution facility, they're extremely hobbled. I would not feel comfortable on anything less than 4 weeks. What you just said is so common that we could get out of McKinney in a week or 2, or Stanley is probably in stock, depending on the finish. And
I need this all in that 605 or
okay,
whatever.
Okay, so here's the important thing. Is it 605 or US 3? Because the 1168 is a steel hinge, the 1199 is a brass hinge.
So I need a heavy-duty hinge, and we interchange these back and forth depending on the lead time on these.
Are they fire-rated doors?
They're not.
Okay.
Same doors. We're talking about
same doors. Okay. All right. Yeah. So there's a major price difference between those 2 base materials. So if you're looking for just the less expensive plated brass, that won't be hard to put our hands on in terms of a lead time. That I would allow a couple of weeks to be safe, only because it's NRP and it's polished brass. And then there's probably some hinge manufacturer that we deal with that has them. I'm thinking of PBB in particular. Their inventory is pretty deep, so they'll have a heavyweight 5x5 steel base NRP polished brass plated.
Okay, so McKinney, you said possibly 1 to 2 weeks. What was Stanley? The same?
If Stanley is not in stock, it's going to be 5 or 6 weeks because that's made in China. Hager, 4 weeks, but could be really troublesome, or it could be in stock. But what we can count on is McKinney, figure 1 to 2 weeks, we can count on McKinney for that.
Okay, and what about Ives? Do you do the 5BB1HW?
Yeah, sure. I didn't think of Ives, actually. I still, 5BB1HW, 5X5. I doubt that'll be in stock.
The NRP.
Let's see. 632 NRP. Oh, my goodness. Well, hurry, because I only have 250 of those in stock. So yeah, a 5BB1 HW. Oh, wait a minute. I lied. I checked the wrong size. 5BB1 HW. I checked 4.5. 5
yeah.
at 5.0.
Unfortunately, we went to 5 on this one.
632 NRP. No, they're not kept in stock in a 5x5.
Yeah. Okay. What's that lead time usually? Do you know?
Ives is going to be 3 or 4 weeks.
Okay. And to complicate the matters, if I wanted them electrified.
Yeah, that'll always be a factory order, and that'll just be a matter of who's the manufacturer. McKinney's going to be 3 weeks. Ives is going to be 3 or 4. Stanley's going to be 6. Hager is going to be, who knows, 4 plus. But power transfer hinges won't be on the shelf.
Okay. Yeah, so that's where we run into another issue. But we could get a we could probably get one of those. You don't even have those in regular finishes on the shelf, like a standard stainless steel one in the.
I would have, I could do satin chrome and a power transfer, sure.
Do you have one of the brands over the other one in stock?
It'd be Stanley. It'd be a Stanley hinge that would be modified with a power transfer.
Okay. I guess that's it. Those are my big items that I needed right now.
Okay, well, we had a good talk about kick plates, and like I said, just if I can help again, let me know.
Yeah, when I narrow down which way I'm going,
right.
I'm still waiting back for the drawings. Dave said, "Oh, you'll have them this week. Oh, you have them last week. Oh, you have them the week before that." Still waiting.
Right.
So, all right. Thank you very much.
Oh, you bet. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Architectural Builders Supply hopes you have enjoyed this program. Architectural Builders Supply hopes you have enjoyed this program. Again, thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up, please subscribe, and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.